I think aspects of leaders really focus on being able to bring people together to work towards a common goal. I believe that it's making the tough decisions when no one else wants to make them, and having vision for whatever it is that you're working on in a way that keeps your group, organization, institution moving forward at a speed that isn't too fast nor too slow.
The way I think about a leader is someone who is able to empower other people, and someone who's able to pull out really good characteristics and to make each person feel like they can contribute to the larger goal.
I think leaders is kind of the idea of bringing people together to achieve tasks. So,
my aspect goes as far as being a leader. I've always tried to be one that tries to set an example, not one that, a manager that points fingers and says do this and do this and do this. I certainly would not ask any of my students or even my full-time employees to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. So I guess for me, I think it's a person that leads by example more than anything is probably how I would put it. That's a pretty old term. We don't.
I
hopefully,
know.
we don't have anything of those terms anymore.
What about like voluntary?
Well, voluntary servants, I guess. I guess I could be considered that, perhaps, a voluntary servant, dependent upon how clean the marketplace stays. I sometimes think that I feel like a servant in there once in a while.
A servant is somebody who's willing to do something for somebody else.
I think of somebody that helps other people.
Servant. One who serves others, but without using the word serve. It's somebody who is willing to give of themselves for the greater good of something or some purpose. I think when it comes to defining like serving, it's like this verb of like giving, and like it normally would involve passion, or it would involve work, it would involve time and giving of yourself and to some purpose or to other people, for instance.
To me, a servant leader is a person who leads by example and leads others and is inspired to do that without any ego. I think that's what a servant leader is.
Gosh, a servant leader. I guess just off the cuff, I would have to say the person that is in charge of the rest of the servants, perhaps.
Oh, you were just talking about how leadership is setting an example, and then you were talking about how, you try and set an example,
Right.
and then you were talking about how sometimes, well, pretty much all the time, you're doing service type things in there.
Right.
So, could you possibly consider yourself a servant leader in the sense that you kind of blend both?
I guess I would have to be if that was kind of the terminology that came with it. I guess I would be a servant leader.
I think servant leadership refers to the idea of bringing people together to do tasks, but also being really conscious of what your goals are and where your role is. So a servant leader is somebody that helps people to achieve goals by bringing them together to do things like that.
Usually you're going to combine the two. But a servant leader is actually more than that too. It's the person who's willing to lead, but also through their leadership, they are giving of themselves, and they are not doing it in the interests of their own, perhaps their own advancement or their own acknowledgement of their role. It's for the purpose of serving. It's for the purpose of helping and giving. And
For me, a person who comes to mind as a servant leader is someone like Hank Tutain, the Dean of Students. I believe that he has led the Student Affairs Division in a way that has really been a service to all of us. He's not only a strong mentor, but he has pretty good vision, understands the system here at the college, and I think works to make sure that all of us are reminded as part of his team to leave our offices, our programs, and ultimately the institution better than we found it.
Well, I definitely think of Sarah. She's my roommate, so I know her really well, and she does a lot of just volunteering on campus with community service center, and she volunteers a lot of her time to the band, and then just like Habitat for Humanity, groups like that.
I think Asita is a really great organizer. He's an excellent communicator. He's the kind of person that can bring a lot of different people together to kind of see a common goal. But I don't think it's about like, hey, I'm delegating tasks. I think it's all about kind of like, this is what I think our group can achieve. I think he's a really good team.
In the following episode of the Servant Leadership Program movie, the Servant Leadership Program has hired us, resident natural experts on servant leadership, to investigate the servant leaders that have been awarded in their natural environment. Oh, I think we're getting a call from our hosts right now. They've spotted them and we'll be on our way. Yes? Righto. We were tipped off that Asita tends to frequent the Diversity Center. So, what do you think? Do you see him anywhere? Let's look. Yes, it doesn't appear that he's in his natural environment, which is peculiar. However, it is late in the day, so we may have to find him elsewhere. Curious. We've moved from the environment of the downstairs to the upstairs. This is analogous to the upper canopy of the rainforest. In this environment, we expect to find a particular breed of servant leader, who's colloquially called Chris Drift. So let's go. No, I think I see him. He's right there. Chris, we had a lead that she was coming this way. Oh, there she is. Stop, there she is. No, Sarah,
No, I really have to go.
But she's so busy being specimen of the servant leadership program. You've been recommended by peers.
Really?
Really? We have $1 million for you as an award recipient of the servant leadership program. This is the example we were looking for. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lee.
Do you want to touch her? Fantastic. A brilliant day. Brilliant. All right. We should probably let her get back to her natural environment.